So this brings us to the next topic, and that is the types of the lipids. So lipids are of three types: simple, compound and derived types. Now what are simple? Those lipids which are only made up of fatty acids and do not have anything else apart from fatty acids. That means they are purely made up of fatty acids, are called as simple lipids. Example is wax, cutin, suberin. Wax you know very well, the paraffin wax of Vaseline, or you can say the candle wax also. Honeycomb is made up of wax, that is also the wax. Enough example. Then if you think of cutin, you know the cactus plant is covered with a waxy coating of cutin or cuticle. Similarly, you know suberin. Suberin is found in the when you cut sections of the plants in plant anatomy, 6th chapter, you'll be understanding this. Inside the plant tissue, there is a layer of endodermis which may carry Casparian strips. Casparian strip is water repelling in nature, does not allow water to go across. So you know wax is a similar type of thing, will not allow water to go across. So suberin, all these things are simple lipids because they are made up of only lipids and no other compound. Now what is a compound lipid or conjugate lipid? Conjugate means when a conjugation word means marriage or joining or attachment. So whenever a fatty acid has something else attached with it which is not fatty acid but something else, you will call such type of lipids as compound lipids or conjugate lipids. So easiest examples are phospholipid. Now when a lipid joins with phosphate group, it is called as phospholipid. You know phospholipid is found where? Try to recollect. In your 8th chapter, you have done about the cell organelles. We learned about the plasma membrane and every membrane of the organelles also, even nuclear membrane. They all are made up of, remember Nicholson and Sanger and Nicholson gave the fluid mosaic model. So phospholipids are present in the bilayer in membrane. So phospholipids play an important role as the biological membrane. Then glycolipids. Now when a lipid joins with a carbohydrate, a small carbohydrate, generally oligosaccharides, so it will form the glycolipids. Now glycolipids is easily available even in the cell membrane, and remember these are responsible for recognition. When cells talk to the environment, or when on a surface of a cell something lands, it has to make a communication to understand what exactly has come in the environment. So to understand or to recognize something, the cell is supposed to have receptors on its cell membrane or its glycocalyx, and those receptors are glycolipids in nature, glycoproteins in nature. Now sulfolipids will have sulfate attached to the lipids, and lipoprotein will have protein attached to the lipids. So I hope this is very easy and clear to you that lipids can be conjugate type also, and conjugate will have something along with fatty acid, and that something will be always non-fatty acid compound. So it can be phosphate group, it can be glyco, or you can say oligosaccharide, it can be sulfate group, or it can be a protein attached to lipid. Now the third variety is called as the derived lipids. Now those lipids which are derived from lipids because of some reaction, that means they undergo some change and create something new, and such type of lipids are, for example, cholesterol. Cholesterol are formed by modification. Now you all know there are lipids which are there are some vitamins which are soluble in lipids. You call them as fat soluble vitamins, so they are also derivatives of lipid. There are hormones which are made up of lipids, which are called as steroidal hormones. Similarly, prostaglandin, we'll be learning about this, and terpene. You know, when painting is done, a thinner is added into it, that is also terpene. So terpenes are required, are important commercially for us. All these things we are going to learn in the functions or the characteristics or use of the lipids. So now the main thing start that what is fats. The main thing now to start with is the fats. So what exactly are fats? Now we learned about various bonds before also. So there is another one coming up now. When a fatty acid reacts with glycerol, when a fatty acid, remember how do we represent fatty acid? It's a monocarboxylic long chain of hydrocarbon. Remember? So a long chain hydrocarbon and a monocarboxylic group, that means it's a fatty acid. So when a fatty acid reacts with glycerol, glycerol is CH2OH, CHOH, CH2OH. If you remember saponification topic of your 10th class, similar type of equation. The only thing is there was an Na there. In this case, Na is missing. So CH2OH, CHOH, CH2OH is the representation of glycerol. So when glycerol is made to react with a fatty acid, then what will happen? An ester bond will be formed with the loss of molecule of water. So a molecule of water will go away and this bond, which is called as the ester bond, will be formed. Now please remember, if only one fatty acid reacts with glycerol, it gives rise to monoglyceride. When two fatty acids react with the glycerol, two molecules of water will go outside and a diglyceride will be formed. And in the same manner, when three fatty acids react with the glycerol, and then the three molecules of water will go outside and finally a triglyceride will be formed. Remember one thing, this R1, R2 which I have mentioned, they can be same or they can be different. It depends from case to case. So a fat can have same fatty acid repeated in every ester formation, bond formation, or it can be different fatty acid participating in the formation of a triglyceride. So it can be a monoglyceride or a homodiglyceride or a homotriglyceride or heterodiglyceride or heterotriglyceride. I hope this much is clear.